Hello and welcome to Journeys of Hope, a podcast from Blythedale Children's Hospital, inspired by the strength, resilience, and unshakable spirit of medically fragile children. My name is Rebecca Solomon, and this is Journeys of Hope. Let's begin. Today's episode is truly special. I'm joined by two incredible women whose passion for the arts is matched by only their commitment to giving back. Christina and Lori are the artistic directors of Artistry Dance Project, a dance organization that has made an extraordinary impact far beyond the stage. Through their leadership and the dedication of their elite and premier company dancers, Artistry Dance Project has raised more than $500,000 for Blythedale Children's Hospital over the past decade. Christina and Lori are not only shaping exceptional dancers, but compassionate humans, teaching the power of art, service, and community. And I'm so excited to share their story, their heart, and the incredible impact they continue to make. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you so
Thank
much. You're going to
you.
make me emotional with that introduction.
I know.
I mean, it's the truth. This is what you guys have created, and it's so unbelievable. And we're so thankful that you are a part of Blythedale. I mean, really, the impact that you've made on Blythedale is just exceptional. And I can't wait to dive into that during this conversation.
Us too. Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so
us. It's
much.
an honor to be here. We are humbled every time we get a chance to have some sort of connection to Blythedale. So this is truly special. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you
Sure.
so much.
So, for listeners who may be new to Artistry Dance Project, can you just share a little bit about how ADP began and what inspired its mission beyond dance?
Sure. So Lori and I got together in early 2013 with this vision for a studio that would, of course, teach great dancing and build these dancers up to become, whether it's just a purely recreational dancer or go on to make this part of their professional lives and careers. But truly, the biggest undertaking also was making sure that we wanted to create a studio that could feel like a dancer's second home. We wanted dancers to feel like they had a community, they had a space to feel seen, to feel valued, grow, to have friends that could eventually turn into family. And I think over the past 13 years, we've really seen the evolution of that. But I think realizing that dance is the basis of what we all love to do and how we express ourselves as dancers, as performers is one thing, but how we can support one another and have a community that really helps raise these kids from, we start to get to know these kids as young as 2, 3 years old and watch them graduate off to college it's a lot. It's a big responsibility, I think, that Lori and I take very seriously. And it's something that really fuels us through the through the tiring days, the harder days. But it's the little joys and the little moments in the studio.
And I think just to add to her too, you've heard the expression of more than just dance. And we truly have felt it ourselves in our professional careers, but dance truly can shape people. Lessons learned in the studio, really, we've seen firsthand be able to shape these beautiful little humans. Discipline, accountability, passion, empathy, all of these traits you really do learn in the studio. So for us, that was always just as important to instill in our dancers, just as much as, the technique. So, and I remember when we were picking out our name for our studio, artistry, instantly came to the both of us. It was something that it was instant. And artistry embodies so much more than just technique. It
And I
embodies
think project in that we are all ongoing projects, right? As dancers and as humans, we're always a work in progress. We're always trying to better ourselves. We're trying to better each other. We're trying to better support one another. So yeah, I think the name kind of ties it all together nicely.
It's beautiful. I mean, the fact that your dancers love what they do as dancers, but then they grow up to be actually good humans, good people, and that you are instilling those traits in them and you're teaching them and showing them, not in a deliberate aggressive way, but in a natural, organic way on how to be these good people, that says so much. And we need that more now than ever. So keep up
Totally
the great
agree.
work with that, because we need these little ballerinas turn good people in our
Exactly.
world right
Yeah.
now. Yes.
Exactly. Only, handfuls of our kids will go on and study dance in college and make this part of their professional career, which we are so proud of. But there's also hundreds and thousands of kids that have walked through ADP's walls that don't have those ambitions, and that's okay too. But we're here to provide that same experience for every dancer that walks through the building.
I love that. Okay, well, how did your partnership with Blythedale begin in the first place? What made you say, this is the cause we want to stand behind?
Yeah.
So I actually, dating back to when I was in middle school, had some connections to Blythedale. And actually through my Girl Scout troop, did some collaborations. And that was my first experience with it. And I think, when you're talking about hospitals and what goes on there, it can be really heavy. It can be a lot for any kid at any age to walk into. And I just remember being in middle school and walking in and feeling it was such a positive space. It was such a magical place. The kids were smiling, they were laughing, they were being kids, just like I was at the time. And so when Lori and I spoke back in, 10 years ago now and said, what can we do to create more of a holiday show that can resonate with our dancers and with our ADP families? We wanted to find a place that we really felt they could, connect with in some capacity. We always have our expression, kids helping kids. Just like our kids are, they're kids. They go to school, they go to dance, they do all their things. The children of Blythedale, they just want to be kids as well. And I think when you walk the halls of Blythedale and you see that the kids are playing in Therapy Village, even though they're getting their therapies, but their therapists are connecting with them and they are providing that same community that Lori and I want for our dancers. I think it's just like a really beautiful parallel. And I remember the first time we reached out to Blythedale, said, we have this idea. We want to do a holiday show. We wanted to fundraise. Is that okay? How do we go about this? I mean, we had a $5,000, you know, goal in mind, and they were over the moon. I was so not expected to be met with that kind of incredible excitement almost. And I said, oh, this is perfect. I could see where this would just like light up for everybody. It just made sense.
And I think for us too, what a special place to be right in our own backyards is it was just hugely important to us, because it's not like we were going to fundraise for a hospital that we wouldn't be able to know and just write a check, send it off. Like, you can go there, you can meet the patients, you can meet the doctors, and it really becomes a partnership more than just fundraising. So we're so blessed to have it right here,
Yeah.
10 minutes down the road.
And I'm
So,
sure, knowing that, Christina, you had that early experience as a
yeah.
Girl Scout with Blythedale, and then, Lori, when you maybe you didn't even know much about Blythedale until Artistry Dance Project, and now Blythedale, there's a
Yeah,
special place in your heart for them. So that's kind of cool
1,000%.
knowing one of you has that older experience and the
Mhm.
other one, and here you
Yep.
are collaborating and bringing to life all the amazing things that ADP does for Blythedale. So, as artistic directors, how do you balance excellence in performance with the responsibility of teaching dancers the importance of service and giving back?
They go hand in hand, right? They are their own entities, but also they strengthen one another. We have a number of different initiatives at the studio, not just this one, but I think that every time the kids really dive into any of these experiences, as much as they give, they're getting back tenfold in the experience, in leadership, in understanding and empathy and all of these, different things. And I think that once once the kids like they dip their toe in and then they see, they're like diving right in head first, you know? Every kid needs to find that experience for themselves and feel comfortable with it. And whenever they're ready, we're here to help them with that, right? And then from there, watching that self-confidence grow in them and watching how all of these things, like they're not realizing it, I don't think, in the moment, right? But us as their teachers, as their directors, their mentors, and their parents, seeing how they're affected by it, you know, it's so tied in together. You can't help but have one affect the other, and then the self confidence grows, and they want to do more, and you know, it's just it keeps compiling in a really positive way for them.
When you see as they become bigger leaders, saying in the studio, it does directly affect their personal performances as dancers. Just because, like she said, I think the confidence is the biggest thing. And when you're given an opportunity to step up and mentor and lead, that only fuels your own strength to get out on a stage and be by yourself and command the room, command the stage. So they are really beautifully intertwined. And it is why Blythedale, our fundraising, but also our other initiatives at the studio, like we're so proud of, and we will always continue to have them and give more opportunities to our dancers. Because it
I
Absolutely.
really
think it
And it
does.
also
all goes here. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Christina.
I think it also fuels the community within ADP, right? Like the the older dancers, yes, of course, they're a little bit more capable and capable of more understanding and capable of doing a little bit more, but our youngest dancers are just as capable in their own ways. And
Mhm.
I think they see, oh, like it's not just adults that are doing this, it's kids that are they may be 4 years older, you know, than me, but they're doing it so I can do it too. And it fuels like not just generation to generation, but like, you know, an 18-year-old to a 14-year-old to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
They're all doing it in their own capacities, but they're doing it because they see the excitement that's building. They see, you know, together what they can do. And I think the balance of they see the kids that are putting themselves out there with and doing more and more in terms of the service and the philanthropy. And we have our ambassador program at the studio, and they see those kids continue to elevate and they want to do that for themselves. You know,
Mhm.
it
Yeah. It's like
creates,
one of their goals
I
without
was
even,
just going to say, it creates a goal for them.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
mentorship too.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
a really beautiful, you know, tie-in for
yeah.
sure.
And it all does go hand in hand. And I'm sure it even plays off when they're in school or when they're, with their families or wherever they are outside of ADP and outside of their service work. It's that confidence you talked about that's going to help these young children turn in as they grow older, and continue hopefully into the real world when they're adults. And it's wonderful. So we're talking a lot about philanthropies, and we know one of our favorite philanthropies at Blythedale is our annual 5K run walk that we have in May, right? And Artistry Dance Project is the title sponsor of Blythedale's walk. And I just want to know what inspired your team to step into this role, and how does supporting children with complex health needs align with Artistry's mission and values?
Well, I think, you know, Lori and I had participated in the 5K when it was a virtual event, being part of the BAC. We were the Blythedale Advisory Council. We were also part of the coordination of the event. And of course, it was virtual because of COVID times. And, you know, it was decided we're going to do this in person. And it just seemed like the total perfect pairing to truly bring our two communities together. We have our ADP family and we have our Blythedale family. And by going in person with the 5K, it felt like the right move to sponsor the event. You know, we have our dancers perform on the day of the event as well. They can be present with the Blythedale patients, the Blythedale doctors, the therapists, the staff that come and be a part of this incredible day. And it's not just our event that we do every year around the holidays, but it's the event with Blythedale, you know, a really tangible way to literally physically like converge our two communities.
it's fun to see our families, like the kids' parents, also fully participate in the 5K. You know, they're out there with their shirts and running and walking. I know on a personal level, like Christine and I, like our sons go, our husbands go, like we're all there together with Blythedale, and everyone is participating. They're not just viewing the show, like the holiday show. So it really has become a very special day.
It's so great. We all have the same passion, right? We all want to give back, and we all want to, even more than that, probably raise awareness of what a special place Blythedale is. When you need it, you want to make sure that Blythedale is there. And it's true. I'm sure so many people drive past Blythedale every day and think, oh, that's just a hospital. But it's not. It's not on so many other scales, other ways. So the more that we can collaborate and, come up with new ways to get the word out about Blythedale in the community, I think is super important. And that's what the back is all about. So we enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
And thank you for all you do on the back. And, you know, just in general, I think there's so many opportunities to support and help Blythedale and in so many different ways. And certainly if you're listening or watching this podcast and, you know, you want to find out ways to get involved, you know, we'll get that information up for you on our website. But it's just, we are so thankful for all of our supporters and for people like you who really do you lend a hand in a way that doesn't seem like you have to do it. It's because you want to do it. And when you find out what Blythedale is about, as you said, it's a magical place. It's almost like a no-brainer. This is where you want to give back. I mean, it's amazing.
I think that's the biggest thing, is that Lori and I didn't walk into year one of our holiday event and say, we're going to raise $500,000 and become part of the Blythedale Advisory Council and be on a podcast one day, right? Like, it was very like, let's hope we can raise 5,000. And Lori and I looked at each other and we're like, well, if we only raise 1,000, like, we're going to give 4,000, right?
Right.
So, it started off so small, and I think 5,000 even doesn't even need to be what it is. I think once you just kind of like I said before with our kids, when you dip their toe in the water, then they're ready to, dive in head first, because they get a little inkling of what this is. And, they have the opportunities to visit Blythedale as well. And over the years, Lori and I have volunteered, and we have spent time with the kids. We've done countless tours. We have, been to the galas. We have recorded our music videos there. We have packed Thanksgiving meal bags for the patients and families. Like, there's so many different ways that people can get involved. Even if there's not a financial something behind it, they can donate an hour of their time. They can, do all different things that I know are so appreciated by Blythedale as well. And I think it just becomes something that's almost just contagious. Like, you just want to do it more and more.
It's a good problem to have, right?
It's a very good problem to have.
Thank you for sharing that. I do appreciate that. But, at the end of the day, $4,000 turns into over $540,000 for the hospital. Over the past 10 years, Artistry has raised more than $500,000 for the hospital. When you hear that number, what does that mean to you?
I mean, I think it's almost hard to fathom.
Yeah,
We were hoping at our 10-year show this year that we would bypass the 500,000 mark. And at the end of the event, we were filling out, the giant paper check, and I just had tears. I could not believe, this past event in 2025 raised just under $80,000, $79,000, and brought us up to that $547 number. But beyond that, it's knowing that every dollar represents care and hope for these children, for their families, and can make a difference, right? Can make an impact.
I know, I see that number and I'm just still speechless, but it is more than the number, what it represents. And as Christina said, like, it's just a united front. And I also, when I see that number, it's the the amount of people that have contributed to that number. Like over the past 10 years, I mean, students and families that have graduated, that have moved on, that have been a part of this with us for the past decade, they're all part of that number. And like, we could not do it without everybody h- diving in. And as Christina said, like the momentum has just continued to go, 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 which is amazing. But you look back and you're like, wow, there have been so many people that have been a part of this with us. And it's just as much their success as ours. And yeah, it is just truly beautiful. It's it's unity.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't some of your dancers gone on to work at Blythedale as well?
Yeah. So a number of our dancers, even one junior in high school this year, have volunteered at Blythedale over the years. Some have gone on then to work as nursing assistants as they went through nursing programs in college. One of our dancers is now an occupational therapist. I mean, it's incredible that the dancers not only are moved by the whole experience, but they then go on to make it their life's mission, which is amazing. Incredible.
It's amazing, and they would not have known to do that if it wasn't for Artistry Dance Project, maybe. So you brought it out in them.
We're
Now,
very
just to give a little context, proceeds raised from your annual holiday show specifically support Blythedale's day hospital program. And the day hospital, it's a specialty outpatient program for children who are able to live at home but still require a level of medical and or rehabilitative care that cannot be met by their school or a community outpatient program. So I just want to know from you both, how does it make you feel knowing that you are playing such an impactful role in this day hospital?
I think the day hospital is an incredible part of Blythedale. It goes back to our true mission of community and family.
Yes.
And these, children that have these incredibly medically complex challenges that they are facing. Sometimes they're ready to kind of get there, but they still need the support and the highly technical care that Blythedale can give them. And knowing that there's this opportunity to support those children and support those families, where they can get that highly specialized care that they truly need while also still having that support of their community at home, and they can in essence go in and out. I think it's huge, and it gives them the same thing that we hope ADP gives our dancers, is a second home, a second community, a second support system, a second family.
Absolutely. We know this past winter marked your 10th annual holiday show. And we talked a little bit about that. And I'm just curious, aside from the amount of money that you've raised, how has the event evolved since year one? What makes it so special now? And I'm going to throw one more question at you. What are you hoping for the 11th annual holiday show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it has certainly evolved.
Yeah.
Actually, this past year, we did a little look back, if you will, on year one to year 10. And, we
Mhm.
started year one. The event took place within our studio in one of the dance rooms, and we had like 40 chairs set up and the dancers danced, and we had some auction items that were pulled together, and we did our best and raised $38,000 ahead of our instead of our goal of 5,000, which was
5,000.
awesome. Yeah, totally blew that one out of the water. It was amazing.
That really fueled the flames.
But
That
then we
fueled
were
the
like, "Oh, wait, we have to kinda go bigger
flame.
now next year."
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so we did 2 or 3 years, I think, right, Lori, within our studio, and then that's when we
Yeah.
moved over to Infinity Nightclub, where we've hosted the event every year since. And Ed over there, the owner, has been an incredible supporter of the event, and we are so grateful for him. And it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's more auction items, and the kids are more involved. They're auctioning off their own skills and talents. Their babysitting hours, and the families of younger students are, being involved in these live auction moments, which makes the older ones feel special and feel empowered, which is incredible.
That year one, when we presented that check for $38,000, I think in that moment, like was the realization of the power of community. And I think not just us being overwhelmed by it, but seeing that first group of kids experience that, seeing that first group of families experience like, oh my, we're like, we did it. Oh my gosh, we did it. And then we did it tenfold. And then we were just like, let's go. And everybody has kind of jumped on the wagon, like Christina said. And this year, especially, like everyone kind of knew we wanted to hit the $500,000 goal, but it wasn't like, again, it wasn't the monetary value of it. Like the kids felt the energy of like, I think we can do it. We're going to be a part of this 10-year celebration. So at that check presentation, like, I mean, it was just very emotional. Like, and I'll never forget the kids' faces when we revealed this year's check. Everyone almost fell over, but then, the realization again that like, wow, we did it together. We did it. So it's
I
been
can only
a
imagine what
remarkable
the
journey.
11th year is going to hold. No
Yes,
pressure.
we're planning
No pressure.
now.
Yes, start brainstorm. And aren't there some really fun, cute cookie jars that
All the cookie jars.
right? That's like a fun little
Yeah, our dancers
addition.
love, over the years, we've done different things, but, we wanna make sure that the kids are having some tangible, hands-on experience, with the whole of at the event as a whole. So, yeah, this year they raised over $11,000. They make those cookie jars that have the premix. All you gotta do is add the water and add the egg or whatever. And yeah, so they make all of them. We supply the jars and the flour and all the stuff, and then we all get covered in flour and sugar and sprinkles and M&Ms, and we have a day and we put them together as a team. And so I think we had over 100 kids here throughout the day, putting those all together, and they sell to family and friends and coworkers. And each jar has a little tag about the Blythedale story and that connection. So it's a special opportunity for the kids to be able to, like I said, be so hands-on in the process.
And
So
they do it on
fun.
their own, which is like the
Right.
most fun thing to see. Like they really take the time to be thoughtful about what do I love? What is going to like really raise money and people are going to be excited about, and I can do it myself. And what a beautiful thing. Like it just, again, goes back to giving them the confidence, giving them the leadership. Like it all ties back
I was gonna
together.
say that. It goes back to that service and excellence, right? Like, they
Yes.
stand there and someone's bidding
Mhm.
$500
Well,
on their,
nerve-wracking.
hours of babysitting, where it makes them feel good and,
Yeah.
makes them feel important and special and valued, and then that helps elevate them in a different capacity, and it's this,
Full circle.
merry-go-round in a really good way.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about your amazing dancers and their impact that they've had on Blythedale. But, how has this partnership with Blythedale changed you as leaders, artists, or even as women, as people?
It's kind of just driven home the reality that every day is a blessing, you know, being able to work with Blythedale, being able to go there, being able to see the kids, having my own child, like just knowing that we can help in a little way, a big way, like it does change you as a leader. Like I feel the responsibility, and like because I want the responsibility to pass that forward to our kids, because we've seen the results, we feel the results. But I just like as a human, it just brings it home every single time, the importance of life and how lucky we are, and that it is our duty to give back. And I feel so lucky that Christina and I have used our platforms in this way, in a positive way, and it continues to change other people's lives. It's just really a blessing.
It's always super helpful in getting Lori and I to kind of refocus on what's important. Um, there might be trophies on our shelves and, plaques on the walls. But at the end of the day, like, Lori and I aren't remembering who won that trophy and who did that. But what sits with us is and this is from our partnership with Blythedale, is watching our kids evolve, watching our kids grow. And I think that I have a very specific memory of it was about 2 weeks before my second son was going to be born. And I was walking the halls of Blythedale, extremely, extremely pregnant. And we walked through the infant wing. And like, I'll still get emotional thinking about it, but I couldn't keep it together, when you're, like, that hyper emotional anyways, 2 weeks before birth, but also seeing these incredibly fragile young children with their parents by their bedside, with their doctors, with their nurses, the staff, everybody around. And again, like you can look in a room and you see a strong mother and father next to the
Yeah.
bed, and you're like, how? But it's so much of what Blythedale does is they are uplifting. They are showing the family that there is hope. They are showing that this is not your entire future, you know? Like, we're going to get your kid home. We're going to get your kid to that place that you want them to be, right? And they're doing that patiently. They're doing that what I think when the families are really ready for that, and I think that is in a very important part of this. But they're doing it in so many ways, and they're giving them support, not just with their kid especially, but their whole family. Maybe they have other children. And I know the way that they have other siblings come into the hospital and how those siblings are treated. And
Yeah.
all of that, I think, is what in that moment, I mean, not that I wasn't all in already, but like in those moments when you have something like that, walking at Blythedale or volunteering at Blythedale, it just makes you realize like this is why we do it. And if anybody else through the process, so to speak, of us, you know, having this partnership with Blythedale can feel that too, it's something that stays with you. It doesn't leave, it doesn't go away. It stays with you forever.
I think the first time I went to Blythedale, like, you think obviously, you're walking into a children's hospital, but I think the thing that surprised me the most was the joy that is in that place. And that's what another thing I would love if someone listening has never been to Blythedale. Like, you walk in and you feel joy. Like, you feel comforted. You feel like this is not a scary place. And it's that's not normal. So it is truly, truly you can't describe it unless you go. And I encourage people to really take a step and visit if you can, volunteer, like, because it is truly a special, special place.
And to that point, I think it's safe to say that any of our families or caregivers who have a child at Blythedale, they would agree with you. And I think when they're entering the hospital with a crisis or something, that they think is the most terrible thing ever, and they soon realize how wonderful and joyful and hopeful Blythedale is. And you guys have seen that, and our families see that too every day. So
There's
yeah.
no doubt about it. You can't walk in there and not feel it. I mean, even just like the colors of the
Yeah.
front lobby, right? You walk
It's
in
fun.
yeah, and I think that's also our dancers, even this past November, we had 70 kids ages 7 to 17 come and film the music video. And you think all of these kids walking into a hospital, like that can be emotional, that can be heavy, that can be like I said. And but I think they walk in there and they're totally just aware. They are respectful, of course. And I think that they see what a special place it is. That merging those two communities and how comfortable and how warm they all, you know, created this environment together was really one of my favorite moments of the past, you know, 10 years working with Blythedale.
So many amazing moments. But looking ahead, this partnership is only going to continue to grow, which is just exciting and unbelievable to think about. What is your vision for the future of ADP's relationship with Blythedale and your impact on the greater Westchester community?
We just want to continue to prioritize Blythedale's needs and continue to ensure that we can continue giving back. We want to inspire our kids to make that part of the forefront of something that they are thinking about or doing in their lives, and just continue to foster that sense of community, like within
Yeah.
ADP, within Blythedale, and together. I think there's so much more opportunity for things like that. I think making everyone in Westchester realize that
Yes.
they can be a part of something too. And I think that's what Blythedale's also really exceptional at, is finding what are you interested in? And we're going to help you find that opportunity here. So it's not forced. It's not, it's
One
just
size fits all. It everyone
exactly.
has, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
just
get that.
genuine. It's you wanna be hands-on here, you wanna get involved with this project, whatever it is. I think Blakeville's just always been so open. Who knows where it will go in another 5, 10
And
years, but we're here for it. We're excited. It's been an amazing ride so far, and there's only, so much more that I could see continuing to evolve as we move forward.
And if you could leave our listeners with one message about the power of art, compassion, and community coming together, what would it be?
I think truly just there's no limit. The sky is the limit, right? And um just like we tell our dancers, everything you're doing is so much more important than dance. It's so much more, it goes far beyond the stage. Your impact is quite literally changing people's lives. And it is positively impacting and affecting these children, their families, and of course the very important work that the doctors and the nurses and the staff are doing. It's allowing them to be their best selves for their patients. We're so proud of the ADP community and how everybody has come together over the past decade. We look forward to another decade and then some of this partnership.
You always hear you can make a difference, you can make a difference, you can make a difference. But no, just letting people know you can make a difference, and us being able to be a part of that phrase and seeing it actually happen, it is true. So again, we feel very, very blessed for our partnership with Blythedale, and we are family, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible thing to have.
Well, the feeling is mutual. And thank you for practicing what you preach, right? That says a lot. Um, I do have one more question for each of you. And this is something I like to ask all of my guests at the end of our podcast. How would you describe the meaning of hope?
That's a special one.
Oh my God,
So
it is.
for me, I guess hope is the ability to not put a limit on something, to understand what could potentially be, and make it happen. Hope is the doctors, the nurses, the staff at Blythedale. Hope is walking in and feeling that support. But I think hope as a word on it alone, by itself, is um, it gives us a sense of purpose. It can truly make us focus and hope for the best, but also make that happen.
Just to add to that, I think hope, it's the belief that it can happen. It's the belief that there can be positive change. It's a belief, it's a feeling that fuels you to act upon whatever that thing is. So it's a very positive word. And yeah, I think just the belief that you can do it.
I love it. You guys have given all of us at Blythedale hope. And thank you for being part of the Blythedale family and a part of the community.
We're so humbled and so honored to be a part of it. And we are so appreciative of Blythedale every day for allowing us to do what we can and be a small, small part of the amazing things that come out of there.
Well,
Thank you so much.
of course, thank you for your time on this podcast. And we hope everyone listening at home really enjoyed this episode of Journeys of Hope. Of course, if you have any ideas for future topics, we'd love to hear from you. Podcast at blythedale.org. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and like and follow us on social media. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.